Coming up on Club Connect, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince tell us how they deal with conflict when they don't agree with one another. We'll examine the consequences of violent behavior and look for some alternatives to fighting. Also, meet Damian Fuller. He swings his fists in the boxing ring, not on the streets.
See what you got, Will. Come on, see what you got.
My ball.
No, man, my ball.
What up, man?
No, it's Will, me, and you. No, he dogged me out my shop.
It was my ball.
My shop, my face, my man. It's my shop.
Hold on. I think we're having a conflict here.
We definitely about to have one.
We need to go talk about this, man.
Uh-oh. Looks like Club Connect's Jerry Millen is in hot water with rap music and TV stars Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. They look pretty angry.
You know, Tara, it's okay to be angry. What's important is how you deal with that anger. I can't wait to see how they solve this showdown. Well, we'll check out that action later.
Teens everywhere face conflict and even violence sometimes. Think about it. Can you recognize when you or people around you are angry? Do you ever wish that you could stop a fight before it starts? Do you know ways to prevent violence?
Stopping the fighting. That is what this special Club Connect is all about. Let's start by learning how to recognize the early signs of trouble. So take a look.
So, Larry, can you make it to my basketball game tonight?
I can't. I have a history test to study for.
Hey, Larry, you took my history notes. Give them back. What?
You heard him. Give him back.
I left them on the lab table. Diana saw you take them. Now give them back.
Stop. Here we have a situation that could become violent. But if Larry can just not become angry, the violence can be avoided, right? Wrong. Anger is a normal part of life, and there's nothing wrong with occasionally getting mad. But if you can understand why you get angry and what happens to your body when you get mad, then you can learn how to control it. Let's continue our scene.
I don't have your notes.
You're lying. Give them back.
Stop. The first step of anger begins with a stimulus or something that makes you mad. In this case, Neil accusing Larry and pushing him. You can begin to feel the anger physically in the forms of tension and stress. When your body becomes tense, a chemical called adrenaline is released into your bloodstream. The adrenaline causes your breathing to become heavier, your heart to beat faster, and your blood pressure to rise. These physical changes add more tension and stress to your body, and you are now ready to react to the source of the anger.
Okay, we've just seen one example of an angry situation. Now we're going to talk about what makes us mad. Okay?
What really makes me mad are put-downs, and all put-downs really do is lower a person's self-esteem.
Well, what really makes me mad is when somebody's physically intimidating to somebody that's smaller than them, and that gets on your nerves, and, you know, it's not right.
Okay, I got a feeling for what makes you mad, but let's step it up a little, okay? Let's make it a little bit more serious. Have you ever been in a situation where your adrenaline is pumping? You really thought the situation was going to end up in violence. Tell me, what happened?
Well, it did end up in violence, but I felt guilty for hitting him because he was just a little kid. But, you know, I tried to talk over to him about the situation, but he just didn't pay attention. You know, he was acting ignorant. And then we were just arguing, then I punched him, and I felt real guilty.
Felt bad about it?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you solved anything after you hit him?
I felt low, like a snake.
Okay. Who else has got a story that...
I got in a little argument with this one guy who was saying stuff about me, and, you know, he started pushing me and stuff like that. And I got an argument, but I didn't really want to get into it because it wasn't worth it. It was during school. I didn't want to get suspended or anything. So, you know, I just let it go. I told him to chill out, and, you know, if he wants to talk to me about it after, he can. You know, and luckily we solved it without fighting, you know, and I'm glad we did.
So are you even cool now to the point where he might respect you more?
We were cool about it. We talked it over, you know, we got through it.
Cool.
Anger is part of life. It's normal. But there is time to think before you act on your angry feelings. When we come back, we'll talk about some options. Stay tuned.
Anger is a normal part of life. Learning to control it when you encounter conflict with someone is a skill. Call us at Club Connect at 313-8716 or write to us for great ways to handle your anger in the Anger Control Kit.
We see a very high proportion of penetrating trauma. And what I mean by penetrating trauma is the type of trauma that's usually caused by knife or gunshot or injuries.
Dr. Russell Farrell is a senior physician at Detroit's Receiving Hospital, where the result of violence comes in ambulances.
The gravity of these injuries is, to me, very distressing, because I see that there's not a lot of remorse usually in the person that's usually caused these types of injuries. I think if they could look over any of our shoulders on a Friday, Saturday night, or really any night of the week, and see what happens to the large majority of the victims of violence, that might change some people. The horror and the harm that's been done, I can see reflected in the eyes of the family that I have to go tell that their loved one now has passed away as a result of the gunshot wound or the stab wound. I've never found the right words. I've never been comfortable with telling someone that the person they care about is dead. I would imagine, I guess, for myself, that if I ever felt comfortable with that or ever became what I would consider insensitive to that event, that I myself would probably end up having to leave this environment and move on to something else.
Stay tuned. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince settle their beef with Club Connect's Jerry Millen.
14-year-old Damian Fuller and his trainer Eddie Carr are bound at the fist.
The close relationship that's developed through the touching, the greasing of the face, the tying of the glove, massaging the fighter's legs and his arms, washing his mouth guard. He's not afraid for me to wash his mouth guard and put my fingers in his face and his mouth, because, you know, we develop a closeness as we work day by day in the gym. I can be in the crowd, the people are yelling. If he's in the ring fighting, if I yell and say, use your jab, he can hear my voice above everybody, simply because we've worked together and we've developed a bond. So that's just the way it is.
Make it work. Go ahead. Make it work. Make it work. Make it work.
I'm Edward Fuller. I'm Damian's father. Damian listened to Eddie Carr on a lot of things better than he does me. I want it. As long as the kid is being led it right, it doesn't matter with me, you know. I wouldn't have it no other way.
My coach, Eddie Carr, he's like a second father to me. I goes over his house, spend the night. We leave in the morning, go to a tournament or something. Go over his house, have dinner, whatever. It helps a lot because my coach is always there for me. I can talk to him about things and my father, so both of them are great guys that I love.
Damian has built a bond based on hard work and commitment, and for him, it has paid off to have someone in his corner. Fuller is the 1991 National Silver Gloves champion in the 95-pound weight class.
My first accomplishment I like to do is to get through the amateurs and maybe go to the Olympics, 96 Olympics, win the gold. After that, turn professional and win a world championship.
If you don't have a mentor or someone that can reel you in or settle you down, then anyone can go astray. The jails are full of good fighters who, if they only had someone that could reel them in.
There's a lot of drug problems in this city, and there's a lot of people forcing you to go the wrong way, but luckily I have good parents and a good coach to teach me to go the right way.
I look at Damian as being a little brother. You know, I work with him, and I think in all aspects of life, if I can, I'd like to see him grow up to be a perfect gentleman.
Yeah, man, I don't know why we sitting down talking to this guy, man.
No, look, we had a conflict and we got to resolve it.
Yo, yeah, we had a beef. It was settled out there when I said it was your fault.
You got to sit down and talk
Jerry
these
Millen
things
from Club
out.
Connect with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. We're really just goofing here, but these type of conflicts happen all the time. And I want to ask Will, what would you really do if that situation we just went through really happened?
Well, it depends. A lot of times what happens is you get in a situation where you stop thinking for a second. Somebody will do something, and your friends might be looking, all right, and you can't afford to let your friends think you're a chump or something like that. And for me, it was never really a problem because my father killed all that peer pressure. You know, it was nothing my friends could say or do to make me get in trouble with my father.
What about you, Jazz?
Before you make drastic decisions or just follow the trend of your friends, you really need to sit down and think about everything that you do. You know, because a lot of problems can be solved if you just think before you do.
That's why we work so well together, right? I love you, man. Seriously.
I love you too, man.
Back in high school, let's say a fella walked up to you and said, man, I don't like what you're wearing. I don't like those tennis shoes. I don't like them. And tried to start some stuff with you. How would you handle that situation?
You just have to get into the habit of thinking about it, because it's a lot of times that people are petty. And people are going to try to do petty things to you. You got to be above that. You have to want something better for yourself. And again, I get back to the parents. That's why I feel like it's important for the parents to instill those type of values in your kids. You're above that. It's not, you can't solve anything out in the street fighting. You get hurt, somebody else get hurt, you get in trouble, you waste a lot of time. Your mind has to be elsewhere. You have to be focused on what your goals are. What we're trying to say is that communicating makes it a lot easier than getting out there and rumbling. After you rumble, you still got a problem. And sometimes you might have a bigger problem. So we feel that communication is the way to do it.
And think first.
Think first. Right, Jazzy?
You got it.
So for DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, you can work out your conflicts by talking.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for hanging out with me, fella.
All right, man.
Amber, what's Kim's favorite food?
I'd have to say it'd probably be spaghetti because she's always eating it.
Is she right?
Yeah, that's right.
What about favorite thing to wear?
Black.
Black? What about hers?
Black and blue.
Black and blue? Yes?
Because she's always beating up on me.
They eat together, talk together, and shop together. Kim Snell and 17-year-old Amber Colville are sisters, not by blood, but through the Big Sisters, Big Brothers program. They met when Amber was 10, and I recently met up with them to find out how their relationship has changed over the years.
I came from a broken family. My mom and dad were divorced, and I needed someone else that I could go out with besides my mom, so she called Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and I met up with Kim.
Well, I think there was a point when I felt like I didn't realize it at the time, but I think that Amber thought that I was being more like a mom, and she let me know by just not talking to me for, 6 weeks? And then I realized, okay, I'm being less of a friend, and I backed off.
Yeah, it's because she was like telling me, well, you can't do this, you can't do this, and she's acting more like my mom than my best friend.
Because I think I realized at one point, you don't want her to do those things, but you can't tell her you can't do those things. You have to let them find out that for yourself, and that's a hard thing to do, but I'm not her mom, I can't do that, and that's not what I'm here for. We do a lot more talking now. We talk about school, we talk about outside of school, we talk about her trying to find a job, what she's going to do after school, keeping her grades up.
She's helped me become my own person, so like at my birthday party I said no drinking, and no one brought any alcohol because they knew what I meant.
What do you guys argue about?
A couple times on certain friends. She didn't like them, and I just didn't listen to her, and I went off. I was going off with this guy, James, and he was bad news. He was drinking, drugs, and I didn't get into the drugs. I got into the drinking and trouble. My mom and her helped me realize that, he's not worth it.
How do you think you'd be different if you hadn't had Kim around?
I'd probably be in juvenile hall right now. Because, I don't know, I've just had a lot of bouts with the wrong people, and without Kim there, I don't think I'd be sitting right here. I'd probably be somewhere else.
Joey Allen. I'm Stephen Sweet. We're one. You're watching Club Connect. Don't touch that dial.
Welcome back. As we left you at the start of the show, Larry and Neil, the characters in our skit, were about to come to blows. Check out this recap.
You're lying. Give them back.
So we have this tense situation. And Larry, as we discussed before, is naturally angry. But even when we get angry, we still have some options as to how to deal with the anger.
I don't have your nose.
Stop. Self-defense is an option, but think about the consequences of fighting back. At the least, you can get suspended from school, in trouble with your parents or with the police. In the worst case, you or the other person can get seriously hurt.
Just leave me alone.
Stop. Leaving the scene is another option, and a good one if there's even a possibility of someone getting hurt. Go to an adult. They can help you solve a problem, particularly when the situation is beyond your control. Remember, nothing is more important than your life. There is a third option you can try. Throw a curve.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry you lost your nose.
Saying I'm sorry or excuse me does not mean you're wrong and the other person is right. It's just a good way of preventing a fight.
I wish I had them so I can give them back, but I can't.
Keep the situation light. The less serious a situation, the less likelihood a fight will break out. It's all right to make a joke, but not at the other person's expense. That can only make matters worse.
No, let's stop a minute and retrace your steps and try to figure out what happened in your notes.
Give the other person a way out. Chances are he doesn't want to fight either. Just remember 3 basics to throwing a curve. Number 1, stay in control. Don't let your fear, anger, or defensiveness make you lose your control. Breathe deeply, move slowly, stay calm. Number 2, keep it cool. Speak softly and calmly. Shouting and swearing will just make the situation worse. And 3, put yourself in the other person's shoes. It's easier to relate to the other person if you understand what they want, think, or feel.
So we've just seen some options. Why do you think people fight?
I think people just get in fights to like make them look more popular around their friends, like do it in front of their friends, like making them look tough so nobody else will mess with them. But the situation just gets worse because somebody else wants to fight them and see if they're tougher than that person.
And when you see somebody fight, you personally, does that make you think that they're tough or they're cool?
No, I just think that they look stupid up there trying to show off in front of everybody.
Anybody else?
I think that people fight to defend themselves, and through the movies, they're taught that the only way to really solve a problem is through fighting and not, through talking.
When we come back, we'll talk about where you go for help and support in dealing with everyday conflicts.
Anger is a normal part of life. Learning to control it when you encounter conflict with someone is a skill. Call us at Club Connect at 313-8716 or write to us for great ways to handle your anger in the Anger Control Kit.
Isaac, and for those who can't read, it's right there. Next to me is Tara Sendabach.
And this is Kenny Johnson, and we're hanging out here in the dressing room right before they go on here. And it's so nice to meet you guys. I've been looking forward to this for like 3 weeks. You have a very unique style of dressing. What about in high school? What was your style then?
I wore a lot of real weird clothes. We got everything secondhand pretty much in high school. My mom would always take us out to get clothes secondhand, so I had clothes that were like way out of style, so far back that they were almost in style again, you know what I mean? I don't want to see you sad, I don't want you be let down, I only want you. The world was on fire. In high school, I was a pretty mellow guy, and when people would give me a hard time for like my clothes and stuff like that, I would just like quietly slink away. And that's something I do even today, quietly just slink away. Because if somebody's bigger than you and giving you trouble, it's like, to heck with it, it's not worth the aggravation.
So Chris, why do you think the majority of your songs are so lonely and sad? Are you a lonely and sad guy?
Camp experience was more like people trying to bond and get to know each other and become men. My name's Leslie Wardell, and I'm in the 7th grade. The purpose of being up there with mentors were to show us that other people besides our parents care about us.
I'm Warren Dennis. I'm the person who initiated the African American Male Mentor Camp. I thought that we could bring together 45 boys into a learning environment of outdoor camping and match them with men who had experienced life and share the survival of being an African-American male with these boys. They have a story to tell.
My name is Michael Anderson. I'm 14 years old. At first I was kind of skeptical. I don't know why, really. I was just kind of lazy about it. But my mother, she was the one who encouraged me since she worked for Reverend Dennis. I see that as an African-American boy, we tend not to have as many African-American male mentors.
You gotta go to school. You gotta use your brain. You gotta go to school. A lot of brothers are dropping out. How many people from here would drop out? When we look at you 5, 10 years down the road, how many dropouts are we gonna have in this group? Raise your hand, all dropouts, stand up and raise your hand.
My name is Alan Martin, and I was a mentor there at the African American Male Mentoring Camp. I think in everyday life you have to be a mentor. We've got a lot of children that are out there lost that need a little bit of direction. To actually go up to a campground with 45 African American males was excellent, and it just gave them a chance to calm down a little bit and get away from the concrete and the hardness of the city.
The people that didn't like each other at first, as the camp came along, they started bonding more. They started coming together.
It's very, very difficult to be a teenage boy today. I think we all learned, both the boys and the men.
My experience at the African American Male Mentor Camp was very useful. I see him. Well, I feel more so responsible. I won't be as lazy as I am at certain times.
The experience taught me how to be more responsible with my duties of being a person and a human, and how to help me along with my schoolwork.
Several of the children call me up now, and they just talk about life. They talk about, starting school now. One of the boys, I took him up to get him enrolled in high school. It was a big step for him, and just the fact that he wanted me to go with him, made a difference. It let me know that there is hope. We found some good answers to some tough questions about putting the brakes on conflicts before they lead to violence.
Odell, I think our viewers and our studio audience know that there are alternatives to violence. Resolving conflicts without violence starts when you stop to think about what's going on before you act.
And no matter what's going down, there's always time to think. Right, guys? Right. So who do you guys go to talk to when you have a problem you want to resolve?
Well, sometimes I go to my mom or dad. But I have an older sister that she's always asking me what's going on in school, And when I have a real bad problem, with my friends or something, I do go talk to her.
Okay, this brings us to another issue, which is role models. This is where you guys get to mention on TV who your role models are and get some brownie points with people you know. If you could name one person that you would like to be just exactly like, who would it be?
I think I look up to my grandparents because I trust them most.
Grandparents are a good source, because they've been through everything before. So, they can tell you kind of what's going on. Who else? Who else has somebody that they really admire and
I would like to be more like my mom because she goes to school, she raises up me and my brother and sister, plus she works full time. So she does all three things and she still has time to spend with us, take us places, or do things with us.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this show. Our thanks to Chris Isaac, oh, what a babe, Jazzy Jeff, and the Fresh Prince, and everyone here in the studio. Thanks, you guys.
To everyone watching at home, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Club Connect.
All right. On a future Club Connect.
You can go out and get a really good workout in. You can aerobically increase, your heart. And the most important thing about that is that this is the kind of exercise that you're having so much fun doing, you kind of forget that you're getting in good shape, too.
Watch for it.
The devil came up to Michigan. He was looking for a soul to steal. But he had trouble in mind as he drove in the line. He was looking to make a deal. He had a brand new Nissan truck, convertible, with a portable phone. He had a Kenwood deck that was bumping loud as he stomped in the no parking zone. The devil stepped out with the people in the silver black feel-out suit that was down. But then he turned his head when his eyes got red when he heard this scratching sound. He walked up on a boy on 2 turntables. This boy was ripping the cut. So the devil jumped up on the back of his truck and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. You rock the beat, pretty good boy, but no, it ain't nothing new. Cause I'm in your town, about to take that call and ain't nothing that you can do. But if you wanna get bad, don't make me mad, we can make this little bet true. A turntable of gold against your soul, I think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name's the Butcher, and I'm the baddest around in this city. You start messing with me, and I'm sure you'll see you're gonna feel real itty-bitty. But I'll take that bet, and you're gonna regret." And then the Butcher started flexing his wrist. But then the devil's posse all jumped in, then they broke it on down like this. Devil's in the house. got done scratching, everyone knew he wasn't no joke, because his records caught on fire, the turntables went up in smoke. The devil's posse got in a circle and they gave each other high fives. They thought the butcher had lost. Party, party, time to get live. The butcher started stretching. He yawned and looked at the devil. Then he dropped his arms down by his side and kind of giggled and laughed at the fella. He had some double mint gum, so he put it in his mouth. I guess he enjoyed the taste. But then he threw the gum wrapper in the devil's face, stepped back and hollered out. The devil bowed his head because he knew he had been beat. So he laid that fresh turntable of gold down by the butcher's feet. The butcher told the devil to get out of town and he laughed dead in his face. Then the butcher started cutting all over again, stepped back and hollered out.